In today's video and blog, I want to talk about tapping, also referred to as emotional freedom technique. I'm going to refer back to actually episode 17 on the Soulfilled Sisterhood, where I talked about limiting beliefs and where they came from and ways to actually begin to break through them. So I learned about tapping many, many years ago, back when I was still in grad school to get my master's in counseling psychology. And I've used this technique various times in my life since then. And I find it very powerful, and it can really help reduce, anxieties, fears, overcoming shame, guilt, sometimes even some past traumas that you've been through and the association that you have with them, kind of disconnecting those really strong emotions from those events in the sense of taking the strength of it down. It helps with cravings. It helps with overcoming phobias. It can help relieve physical pain, help with chronic pain, and really trying to release more negative experiences, again, like I said, and kind of maybe the feeling of rejection that goes with that. This technique originally developed by Dr. Richard Callahan through his, what it's called, I have to look it up here, the 5-minute phobia cure. And he used this technique to help with phobias, anxieties, fears, and all of that. And then it was later further developed and then popularized by Gary Craig, Dawson Church, and some of you know of Nick or Jessica Ortner and many others who have used this. Gary Craig, when he was further developing it, he was the one who termed the emotional healing, he called it the new system of emotional healing, and then the EFT, or again, emotionally freedom technique. Basically what this is you're going to tap on 8 different acupressure or acupuncture parts of your head, your collarbone, and then underneath your arms. We'll start off with doing what they're calling a karate chop, where it's your initial setup phrase that you will say here. And it doesn't matter which side you do it on. You start with 4 fingers and you're going to tap there. And then you go up to 2 to 3 fingers at the top of your head. And some people if you look from the top of yours to the top of your head, you can do it. Again, tapping's fairly forgiving, so you don't have to be exactly precise or anything. And then we're going to go and we're going to tap with 2 fingers in between your eyebrows, right on the outside here of your eye, right where the eye socket is, underneath your eye, again, kind of right where your eye socket is, underneath your nose, you're going to tap there. And then you're going to tap where there's a bridge or a crease right there where your chin is, and you're going to put a little bit of pressure going downward. And then when you come down to your collarbones, if you go straight down and then go down, about an inch underneath your collarbones, and then over 2 inches, that's where you're going to tap. Sorry, then the other part after the collarbones, you're going to go right underneath your arm. And for women, it's right where your bra strap is. And for guys, you can kind of look to see if there's a soft spot there. And then that's where you were going to tap, or a spot that kind of hurts. You will tap on those spots 5 to 7 times, and you don't need to count. It's okay. And then you're going to do a round of that 3 to 4 times. First, we've got to scale what that is, and I'll talk about this in just a second. And then once you do 3 to 4 rounds of that, then you're going to go back and check in to see if you're still at that same intensity level, or if it's gone down. Then once it goes down, then we're going to replace some of those phrases with some positive affirmations or some positive statements as you do this. All right, so the very first step that you need to do is, what is the issue you want to actually tap on? What some people call it the most pressing issue, or the one that has the most intensity. Again, the scale is from 0 to 10. And since episode 17, we talked about limiting beliefs, I'm going to stick mostly with that. So one limiting belief, I recently had an interview with one of my colleagues on dating, right? And I was in episode 15. And we were talking about trying to find some love. So if maybe one of your limiting beliefs is, I'm afraid that I won't ever find my ideal mate, right? You can stick with that fear or that limiting belief, and then we can tap on that. So the initial phrase that you're going to use in karate chop, again, 5 to 7 times, we're going to tap on that, is, even though I have this fear of not finding my ideal mate, I fully and completely love and accept myself. Again, even though I have this fear of not finding my ideal mate, I fully and completely love and accept myself. And you're going to do that again 5 to 7 times, and then you're going to move it to the top of your head. Even though I have this fear that I won't find my ideal mate, I fully and completely, deeply love and accept myself. And then we're going to move to your eyebrow. And now when we get to here, you're going to actually use a summary phrase, something that's just shorter for what that is. So fear of loneliness, we're going to go with that. And then that's what we're going to use the rest of the way. So fear of loneliness, 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 fear of loneliness. And you do that again 3 to 4 times going around. So once you've completed the tapping 3 or 4 rounds, I want you just to pause, maybe close your eyes, look down, take a deep breath. And now let's go back to the intensity scale. For example, let's say I was at an 8 when I started because my fear was, or my limiting belief was regarding the fear of not finding my ideal mate. I've done it 3 or 4 times now. And now when I check in, okay, I'm underneath a 4. I'm 4 under. If it takes you another few rounds to get under 4, totally fine. Keep doing it until that intensity level goes down. Sometimes it's just those couple rounds and it's fine. Sometimes it's even once and you can get it to go down. What we're going to do now, though, is also replace the fear piece of it with positive choice statements. So, for example, so I'm going to start at the top of my head with the fear statement, right? Even though I have this fear of not finding my ideal mate, now I'm going to make the positive choice statement. I choose to believe I will find my ideal mate. Even though I have this fear about not finding my ideal mate, I can choose right now to know that I will find him. Even though I have this fear of not finding my ideal mate, I choose not to believe that I can't find him and choose that I can find him. Even though I have this fear of not finding my ideal mate, I choose to believe I will find him. And you can do that sequence a few times if needed. If you can get it down to a 0, that's really kind of where you want to be. And if you get it down to a 1 or a 2 and you just don't want to do it anymore, that's okay. Just do the sequence again tomorrow and the next day until you can get it down to a 0. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, another way of being able to break through those limiting beliefs that try and hold you back. And I encourage you to sign up as well and subscribe to the Soulfilled Sisterhood podcast, either on iTunes, whatever your favorite Android app player is, subscribe to it and go from there. Thank you so much.